All right, are we rolling?
Rolling.
All right, we're rolling. David, hi, man. How are you?
Very well, man. All the better for seeing you.
Dude.
Spontaneously.
Dude, music to my ears and synchronistic as well. Because as I told you, we were just chatting, actually me and Russ were just chatting about this concept of pivotal mental states, right? States of plasticity when you are receptive and ready to be transformed. And these pivotal mental states are characterized by increased receptivity and reactivity to stimuli, both from within and from without. It's basically a highly suggestible state. It's a vulnerable state because when you're highly suggestible, you can be inspired and you can also be manipulated, right? It's a double-edged sword. But the point is, trauma happens in pivotal mental states, but the inverse of trauma, which is transformation and growth and healing, also happens in pivotal mental states. So you approached me, which was lovely, and you said that my content landed for you at a time in your life that it catalyzed, or something was happening that landed well with my content for you.
Yeah, I was going through this great awakening journey, 2012, 2013, 2014, and your content around that time, I think I was saying that I was just at this frequency where I felt everything you were putting out, like every single week I was watching it, it was just like tuning me, lifting me up, and just massively promoting to opening me up. And then it's funny, it like faded away for a little bit in terms of like I saw you, but I kind of wasn't like in that phase anymore.
And now we're here.
And now we're here. And I saw your story, and then I was like, oh my god, I just saw Jason Silva walking down the beach.
Synchronicity. But you know, it's interesting because you speak about this period like 5-6 years ago when the content landed for you. So a constellation of variables converged. Whatever was happening in your sort of autobiographical life, your sense of self at the time, your psychological state, like the specific context you were in, for whatever reason, was a pivotal mental state. There was plasticity. You were hungry for transformation. And then you might have found anything, but through serendipity or the self-organizing power of the universe, you found my content, and my content landed for you. Perhaps for two reasons. I like to think that my content is evocative and powerful, but it's not going to land unless you are in an open and receptive state. So you were in a pivotal mental state, heightened plasticity, ready to be transformed, and then my content landed for you. So it was a perfect storm. In this case, in your case, it was a perfect storm of which we had no control, right? It's just a fluke. It was luck. It was grace. But what's interesting to me is pivotal mental states, or these perfect storms, they tend to be haphazard, right? People have these moments in their lives when they're open, ready to be changed, and if they're lucky enough that the right thing comes into their field of awareness, wow, I met that mentor at just the right time, or I met this son of a bitch that led me to this cult that ended up ruining my life. So pivotal mental states are, we have to be careful around them. Nonetheless, they are no longer these haphazard perfect storms, because the conditions, the precursors, the underpinnings of pivotal mental states are now understood. Jamie Wheal and Stephen Kotler talk about the 4 forces of ecstasy: psychology, technology, neurobiology, and pharmacology. And the more we can machinate and manipulate and DJ and calibrate psychology, technology, neurobiology, and pharmacology, the better we can engender setting environments where subject and object and process can become one thing. In a pivotal mental state, it's an open heart surgery of the psyche. Sure. You're in a state of flow, you're in a state of heightened qualitative intensity, you are ready for meta-patterning to take hold, right? Programming and meta-programming the human operating system. But again, it's no longer a haphazard perfect storm. I can create that perfect storm. You can create that perfect storm. And this is where breath work and other techniques of ecstasy, as Eliade refers to them, as we become stewards and masters of these techniques of ecstasy, as we become ecstatic technicians of the sacred, we can program and meta-program ourselves by opening up the floodgates of these pivotal mental states, right? Parting of the seas, and go in there and do the work. Not to mention, once we do the work and get ourselves back to wholeness, we can still deploy pivotal mental states for ecstatic play and creativity. My videos are forged, like the way you forge a sword in the hot fire, right? I forge my videos inside of pivotal mental states. I'll create a set and setting. I'll create an environment that is safe and novel, a sacred space, and I might partake in a technique of ecstasy of my own choice. Cannabis is legal. Sometimes that plays a role. But once you have the set and setting, or the canvas for the improvised performance piece of consciousness, which is what David Lenson calls it, you basically can arrange and rearrange the fragments of perception that are coming in at every moment. The place, the people you're with, they all becomes part of your field of awareness. The music that's playing, so you're creating and perceiving your world simultaneously in a pivotal mental state. It's essentially a waking dream, like the film Inception. But when you become aware that you're dreaming, now you can do the work. So you engender a sacred space, you enter the waking dream, and then you start to throw in the music, the song, the mantra, the topic of conversation that naturally emerges. It's an improvised performance piece of consciousness, like a jazz solo, but the material is all of your field of awareness. And I create that space, and I forge transformation and divination and insight inside of those pivotal mental spaces. Amen. And then afterwards, I close the container. Sometimes I record myself very much in the container. Sometimes I close the most pivotal part and go to like part 2, and then I record in the sort of afterglow or the integration session. That's also good material because you're still open, but you're back to like 3D, and so the lucidity and the coherence is back. Sometimes when you're in 5D, it's hard to find the words. But the point is, we become ecstatic technicians of the sacred, the art as shaman, the jazz musician as shaman, who deploys the toolkit to create pivotal mental states, to harness the power of creativity, contend with the unknown, bring something magnificent, capture lightning in a bottle, and simultaneously heal. And then you have something you can share with other people that can heal them in turn. So that's what we've been talking about today. And then I met you on the beach, and the opportunity to share this with you has finally made it all come full circle for me.
Beautiful, like the Uberos.
Yeah.
That's like true alchemy, when you just deconstructed that.
Oh, thanks, bro.
True alchemy.
Well, it's so good to meet you. How's your heart? How's your life? How's everything right now?
Good, man. It's very blessed to feel in Tulum. I feel like this is one of the few places left on Earth.
Yeah.
Everyone is gathered. Life feels abundant. The soul feels open.
Yeah. It seems. You look it.
Yeah, I'm super, super happy. I just can't believe I met you, man. Yeah, it's so beautiful. And
COVID-free, dude. Nice to meet you.
That deconstruction, man.
Yeah, thanks.
Incredible.
Yeah, I mean, look,
you're making Jung proud.
Making Jung
90 years later, deconstructing Jung with the technologies and understanding we have today.
Thank you for saying that. That reminds me of Timothy Leary's quote. Timothy Leary says, in the information age, you don't teach philosophy, you perform it.
Amen.
And so, again, performance, improvisation, a jazz solo, all of these things emerge in a pivotal mental state. So in the same way that a pivotal mental state can traumatize, a pivotal mental state can heal, but a pivotal mental state is also the place from which creativity is born. And so again, in the information age, you don't teach philosophy, you perform it. For me, I unlearn and I relearn inside of these pivotal mental states. So thanks for letting me share that with you, brother.
Thanks, man.
And thank you guys for listening.